Welcome to the Dusty Jobs podcast from Imperial Systems. Industry knowledge to make your job easier and safer.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dusty Jobs podcast. Today we're doing a special Veterans Day episode, and joining us is one of our representatives, John Poehler. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on. So John's company is Semper Industrial Solutions out in California, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. How's it go? How's it out there? How's everything out in California?
So far, with the present conditions we're living in, we're actually doing pretty well. I think overall, industry is beginning to improve as we fight our way through what we're presently going through.
Yeah, this is some challenging times, but it's good to know you're doing well and healthy out there, and things are going good. That's great to hear. So, now the reason we have you on today is because you have some past military experience. Is that correct?
That's true.
Yeah. So you were in the Marines, right?
I was. Joined the Marine Corps. I guess officially was commissioned in 1990 and then retired in 2012.
Nice. So during your time in the Marines, now I see you got a picture there beside you in the background. Is that a helicopter?
Oh, yes, correct.
Yeah.
My office, the wife lets me put pictures up in the office. So right for them. They're all helicopters for the most part.
There you go. Now, is that what your role was most of the time when you were in the Marines? Is that your job? Can you tell us a little bit about you started in the 90s and then kind of walk us through your time in there if you don't mind?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Wisconsin kid. Went to the University of Wisconsin, was commissioned in the Marine Corps in December 90, and then went off to a couple different things, but you end up in flight school down in Pensacola, Florida, and Corpus Christi, Texas. And then I ended up going to a fleet squadron out at Camp Pendleton in California, and I was there 93 to 99, roughly. And it was all helicopters deployed, several deployments out of those different units, all to Asia and Southwest Asia. And then in 99, I went back to Quantico, Virginia, joined another squadron there, HMX-1, was there for about 5 years in Quantico itself, and then came back out, deployed again out here on the West Coast out of Camp Pendleton. Great group of guys, great, not only a great boss, a couple great bosses, but just great young Marines and sailors that I was fortunate to be with. We went out to the West Al Anbar in Iraq. Came home from that in 2007. Ended up going to Marine Corps Air Station Yuma, Arizona. And again, another great boss, another great 2.5, 3 years with a great group of young Marines and sailors out there, primarily doing search and rescue out in the desert area of Yuma and surrounding areas. Mm-hmm. And then I retired out of Yuma, Arizona, and moved back to San Diego, California.
Nice. So during that time frame, what was, you say, the most exciting thing you got to do? Did you get to do anything interesting or different, something that just really sticks out to you?
I'm very fortunate. I was able to fly the vast majority of my time, so I was in different squadrons for the most part. Just working with. Actually, I was very fortunate. I had great commanding officers for the most part. And I worked with phenomenal young Americans, both Marines and sailors, absolutely phenomenal, best that this country has to offer. In terms of the missions that we flew, a great variety. I was very fortunate from fleet squadrons in deploying with units to a squadron in Quantico, Virginia, which did presidential service, to Yuma, Arizona, doing search and rescue, working with the local community, both the local community, state, and federal agencies. It was just a wonderful experience across the board. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
That sounds
so I probably can't pick out any one thing. It was just every duty station brought something special.
Yeah, that sounds like a really interesting time that you that never a dull moment. Now, I'm gonna ask you this: did you get a chance to fly the president?
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh, that's got to be pretty exciting.
Oh, extremely. Again, if I haven't said it, that was a phenomenal group also of friends to this day that we still meet up and have dinner or breakfast, coffee, whatever the case may be. Maybe grab a beer, whatever. But phenomenal group. But we're all aging a little bit now. Hard to believe that it's been 15, 20 years ago that I was there. But no, it was wonderful experience.
Yeah,
wonderful travel.
Yeah, that sounds great. And like I said, thanks for all you've done. Thanks for serving. Now, it seems from an interesting jump from flying the president in a helicopter to now working with Imperial Systems in dust collection. How in the world did that come about? You know, it is funny. It's humorous, but it's great for me. It's been an absolutely wonderful journey. When I retired from the Marine Corps, again, you've been doing this for so long, 20 plus years, you don't know what you're supposed to do. So I got out very typical. I became a contractor, a DOD contractor for a year, worked, on Camp Pendleton, and lo and behold, an older gentleman, I've been very fortunate with mentors and friendships, and, an older gentleman from church, he was an usher. He is an usher. He reached out to me one day and told me about this industrial rep business. And he was a rep, here in Southern California, and I've known him for years. Anyways, one thing led to another, and before you know it, I was working for a manufacturer, and that lasted for about, I think, 4 years. I met, again, wonderful people, to include Tom Frangello. He was my boss, for a while. And then, anyways, I ended up going on my own. Again, great mentorship from a lot of other reps and friends, and they kind of guided me on how to do this, on how I could do this on my own. And I got to say, Jeremiah helped me tremendously through that process. And lo and behold, with the support of literally the support of my wife, who said, "Yeah, you can do this." We just started in, and it was a slow process at first, but again, the team that Imperial has put together, I mean, I got to give you kudos. Again, I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by a great group of people and support people. And anyways, here I am, I think 3 years, coming on 3 years later, if not 3 years later. Yeah, I know we really appreciate having you out there. You always do a great job, and you handle everything that gets thrown at you, for sure, without a question. It's nice to know that we can still call you at 8 a.m. here, even though it's 5 a.m. there. You're always up and ready to go. But
heck yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's great. So, John, you mentioned Tom Frangello on here, and Tom actually was on one of our previous podcasts talking about innovation. He's working with us now. But you knew him before he was working with us, didn't you?
No, that's correct. In fact, he was my boss at my time when I was with Camphil. In fact, in 2013, Lee Morgan was running Camphil, and he interviewed me up in LA. I think he was heading overseas, and had a wonderful 2-hour interview with Lee. True. Again, I ran into another wonderful man. He's been a good mentor for me in this industry. And that's what led me to Tom, and Tom, again, has been a great mentor for me during that time period. Anyways, I ended up coming to Imperial slightly before Tom did, and when I heard he was coming on board, I was like, hey, it ended up being a wonderful, again, experience to have Tom and be able to work with Tom and your whole team. But I deal with Tom on a daily basis now almost, and it's truly pleasurable.
Yeah. Now, Tom's our larger equipment rep for that area out there in the California area, and you're our local equipment rep for that area. But when we're talking about the California, Arizona area, what's the industries you're really seeing out there? What's the ones that you're really tell us a little bit about that that part of our country.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, California is an interesting place, and I'll throw Arizona and parts of Nevada into that also. But California, we're coming on 40 million people, so when you have that many people, you're going to have industry. Due to a lot of issues, I'm going to say there's not a lot of large companies out here, but there's a lot of mom and pop up to medium-sized manufacturing companies here. And it's really a broad brush of different industries, from agriculture to food. There's a lot of bio. There's a lot of metal work, a lot of woodwork. It really depends on where you're located in the state. Imperial Valley and Central Valley of California is primarily ag. And you name it in terms of ag, everything's produced here. If you get into the more built up areas, Los Angeles, San Diego, the Bay Area, then you're going to get more into a lot of aviation, a lot of tech. And there's always school projects going on, a lot of military projects that are happening. There's mining as you get into more into the desert areas. And then Arizona, Phoenix to Tucson, a lot of metal work going on there with a lot of automotive and aerospace. So it's really there's a mix of everything. You can throw in aerospace and auto. Those are a lot of different types of metal projects too.
Right.
So there's a broad breadth and depth of industry throughout those markets.
Yeah, that's keeping you on your toes and giving you a little bit of everything, I'm sure, out there. You get to learn a little bit about grain this day and a little bit about weld smoke the next day, right?
It is. That is absolutely true. One day you'll be in a silo with sugar, and the next day you'll be talking about weld fumes at an automotive facility.
Yeah. Well, that's great, and being able to figure that all out and continue on with building that out there for us and helping us with our footprint out there and letting people know they can help keep their environment cleaner and safer with a C-Max. And we're glad you're helping us do that out there.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
So I asked you what your most interesting thing was during your military time. What's been your most interesting thing that's happened to you during your dust collection time?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's what's that TV show? Dirty Old Jobs or Dirty Jobs. It's absolutely fascinating for me walking into different facilities every week and seeing how things are made, how things are manufactured, how things are produced, whatever the case may be. It is just absolutely amazing, especially in Southern California, California as a whole, in Arizona too. There's a lot of aviation, a lot of mom and pop level to mid-level aviation companies out here, and it's fascinating to walk in and go, oh, you make that widget, great. I remember testing aircraft and we needed that widget, and you guys are the ones that make that widget. So that's been fascinating, but also whether you're dealing in agriculture or some type of metal product or woodworking project, local schools, military bases, it doesn't matter. It's always fascinating to walk into those facilities and just meet people and see what we can do to help them. It really has been a pleasurable 3 years.
Yeah. I like I said again, I'll say it again. We enjoy having you on our team. We think it's great. And so let me ask you this. How much do you feel that your time in the military helped you prepare for overcoming situations that you experience every day in the dust collection world? I mean, if you said, what that looks like, just for the other veterans out there who maybe are in your situation where they're getting ready to retire, they're getting ready to look on to the next thing, what would you say to those guys about, hey, this is how this translated for me?
And that's a great question. It's $1 million question, and I didn't know the answer to that when I got out. And I put thought to that over the years, and because you don't know this, you have this skill set. No matter what that may be, you have this skill set that you develop while you're in the military. For me, a lot of it was flying helicopters, but there's a whole nother level, and it's based around that big word leadership. But underneath leadership are several traits. And the military, specifically the Marine Corps, does a great job in developing their leaders, but they do it because they understand how to train people to problem solve. And in order to problem solve, you have to go through decision making. In order to do decision making, you have to do some type of course of action development. You need multiple courses of action, and that leads to problem solving. That leads to final decision making, and someone calls it leadership. But nonetheless, on a daily basis, you figure out worst case scenario, and if you can solve that, everything else is easy. And that's kind of how I handle issues day in and day out here. And it really makes it very smooth. But that leadership capability that people don't, when they're getting out of the military, they've been doing it for a while, they don't realize that it is a skill set that is needed in the civilian world. So many people go right into defense contracting, and there's a plethora of opportunity in industry and probably elsewhere in the U.S. for young folks or older folks like me to jump into and make a difference. Yeah,
that's great. So hopefully, if someone out there hears this and can hear your story of your success in the military, and then you're being able to come out and transition to other stuff, like hopefully that just gives them some hope and some direction on what they can do too. So, and
I hope so. And again, I don't know where this is all going, but if any veteran ever wants to talk, by all means, I hope they can have my number or whatever the case may be, or email, however that works. And I'm always available to discuss.
Yeah. And I'm sure if anybody's interested in getting a dust collector, you'd be glad to talk about that too, right?
In a heartbeat.
There you go. So John, you have your own website, right?
I do.
What's your company's website?
Semper Industrial Solutions.com.
There you go.
So the name of the company is Semper Fi Industrial Solutions. I took the Phi out to shorten it.
There you go.
It's been kind of comical that it's still a pretty long email and website address.
There you go. But if you're looking to get a hold of John, or you just want to thank him for his service, there's a good way to do it. You can reach out to him that way. Also, if you need anything in that California area, feel free to reach out to us here at Imperial Systems. We'll get you in touch with them. And John, you got any last words of encouragement for any veterans that are out there, anybody who's serving right now?
No, just I'm proud and humbled to be with them and to know them, and I truly appreciate their service, and that's what the 11th is about. So by all means, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, and all of us here, our team at Imperial System, we want to thank you personally for what you've done and serving our country, and thank everybody else out there who's served our country and put their time in. And we just want to say thanks for listening to the Dusty Jobs podcast, and tune in again next time, and who knows what we'll have up.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Dusty Jobs podcast. Breathe better, work safer.